We're in the throes of a housing crisis that is only getting worse. Mortgage loan company Freddie Mac says the United States needs nearly 4 million homes to meet current demands. On top of that, the National Low Income Housing Coalition says we are 7 million affordable rental houses short for low income families. Behind the numbers, though, are the people who tell us their wages simply can't keep up with escalating costs. WUSA 9's Larry Miller shares their stories in this special report, Priced Out.
It's fantastic. Well, even now, there's blue sky and those little clouds.
At 76 years young, Terry Nicoletti has lived the professional lives of a dozen people. She's written a book.
This is the one I self-published for children.
Performed on stage.
This is me in my acting career.
And she's a woman of faith.
In my fourth career, I'm going to be a chaplain.
A triple threat in her own right, Nicoletti certainly didn't picture herself without a place to call home.
I was able from that first job to buy a home on East Street. And I actually owned that home for 11 years. But I couldn't keep it up. I couldn't keep up the payments. And I ended up in a one-bedroom apartment that I could afford for about 1.5 years. And then after that, for 1.5 years, I lived out of my car, actually, doing house sitting.
Nicoletti represents a growing population of residents throughout the Washington metro that either can't afford or are spending a majority of their income on housing expenses. The trend is exacerbating the need for affordable housing. Data from the National Low Income Housing Coalition shows the Washington metropolitan region has a shortage of more than 126,000 rental units that would be affordable and available to extremely low income renters. The average rental prices throughout D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are above the national average of $2,000 a month for a two-bedroom apartment. But D.C. tops the region, where the average two-bedroom apartment costs $3,100 a month. The National Low Income Housing Coalition said D.C. residents need to earn at least $33.94 an hour in order to afford a two-bedroom unit. To put that into real numbers, that means at least 80,000 people in the district cannot afford a place to live, according to data from D.C.'s comprehensive financial report. Nicoletti is one of them.
My work as a writer, as a performer, or somebody's work as a carpenter or as a server in a restaurant, it's not valued the same way as if I had chosen to be a lawyer or a doctor.
Thankfully, after months of bartering and house sitting, she was able to get an apartment with Jubilee Housing, which provides affordable housing and community resources to those who need it.
So here what I have is I have a residence that's safe, that I can afford out of my Social Security. I have a little studio with a window that looks all the way down to the Washington Monument, and I'm like, oh my God, I have a view, you know, not another brick wall. And not once do I have to say, is this gonna make me money? Is this gonna make me money? So I think once you get to be my age, it ought to be like that.
Yeah.
More affordable housing units are being constructed throughout the metro, but it's still not keeping up with demand. Jubilee Housing has 10 properties in use and 5 more on the way. Jim Knight is president and chief executive officer.
So one of the challenges about our work is that we are always full. So when Maycroft came online in 2019, we opened the wait list for a day, and that created 300 new households who are still waiting.
Counties throughout the metro are doing their best to work through the crisis, providing additional housing assistance, or like D.C., investing $400 million into the Housing Production Trust.
I feel like the universe said, okay, you've had 50 years of trying to make enough money to live on and do your creative work. We're gonna give you a rest now.
Larry Miller, WUSA 9.
The National Low Income Housing Coalition looks at Maryland and Virginia, too, and they found renters in Maryland need to earn a full-time hourly wage of $28.60 in order to afford a two-bedroom apartment. That's about $59,000 a year. In Virginia, it's $50,700 a year.